Cultural and biological diversity in South Carolina is a set of reflections on nature, culture, and language from various people around the state. South Carolina begins in the Atlantic in a long coastal plain that terminates in the Sandhills region around the state capital of Columbia. From here, the rolling Piedmont picks up and flows right up to the Blue Wall, or this intense drop-off that forms the Blue Ridge Escarpment. This escarpment serves as the eastern terminus of the southern Appalachian Mountains in the state. Throughout these areas, there are many different habitats with unique plants and animals. Without the changing human populations of the state through time, some of the habitats wouldn't exist. Indeed, all of them bear a human signature. The ink lasts longer with some than others. We offer a few voices from around the state. How is culture important to you?
We grew up in a small town and we knew everybody and they watched out for us, and I think that caring translates into my life even today. But Southern folks like to talk. Northerners do not understand grits, and of course Southerners don't understand hominy.
A course that was offered a few years back that promised to remove your Southern accent, and to me, that's criminal, because then we all become some ideal voice, and then we may as well just turn it all over to robots.
How is nature important to you?
One time I was hunting this fall. It was a clear sky, and I was hunting on a road, and I got out there too early, and it was just dark. So I just laid on my back and looked at the stars and was just gazed. And I told someone about the experience, but I just could not accurately describe what I went through.
You know, I use my yard and my garden and everything to provide food for me and beauty for me, so I get sustenance from that, you know, complete sustenance, you know, not just food but beauty. Nature is my sense of peace and well-being. To me, when I get upset, I like to go to a lake or a waterfall. I need bodies of water when I'm upset. The forest, that's my sense of calm.
How do you support the natural world?
You don't build things for your generation. You build them for those to follow you, hoping that they will do the same in turn. To leave whatever we may possess in a whole lot better condition than we found it.
Well, I grew up in the South. I grew up in the low country of South Carolina. Not a lot of money. And so my mother and father worked hard, and so they believed in using what you had and making sure that you did not waste any of those resources. And I think that carries over a great deal into my life today. There is that interconnected link between us and the environment, and if we don't take care of it, we're going to pay the consequences. And I might not in my generation, but the next generation's going to have to pay the price, and so we can't escape those consequences.
How do you sustain the natural world and the cultural world?
Both the natural world and my culture, they coincide with one another. From an agricultural standpoint, we as people need, the world to grow food, and the world needs us so we can put back the nutrients and, just keep things going.
Man has always been very adaptable, whether he be charging down the river or walking in snow up to his chest. He's always has the ability to adapt to the situation.
I'm trying to remove or not make my fingerprint too large on God's world.
Have you seen changes in language over the years, language no longer in use or whose meaning we've lost?
A lot of my ancestors came from the mountains, and a lot of the idiomatic slangs, and I don't see anymore. We get away from coal oil, which is kerosene.
Because there were times she'd go outside at night and she'd point at the moon and she would tell me there was blood on the moon. And I never really understood what blood on the moon meant. She said there's blood on the moon tonight. And she would say it in a way that wasn't positive.
I say dilly-dally a lot in class, and some of the students say, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Don't waste time."
Is there a link between maintaining culture and maintaining the natural world?
Those lakes replaced creeks and rivers and towns and farms, and they replaced a culture. There's culture under these lakes.
I was taken fishing as soon as I was born. My mother loved fish. So as soon as I was old enough, and I was born in July, so I imagine that 2 weeks after I was born, my mama had me in a boat fishing.
Imagine you have no direct contact with nature. How does this affect you?
That would be very drastic for me. I'm constantly in my culture with agriculture, constantly direct contact with the land, constantly outside, constantly looking at plants. If I couldn't do that, I think I'd probably shut down. So.
I'd probably have high blood pressure. Really bad, because in every vacation day or week or during the summer break, I garden. I work in my yard. I dig in the dirt. I plant flowers. I pull weeds. And that's my de-stressor. It always has been. And I just can't imagine not having flowers and plants around me. I think that would be just awful. I think I'd probably just wither up and dry up myself.